Community Viewpoint with John Pollock and Maria Hurst.
And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pollock, your host today, and this is going to be a very colorful show. We have with us today the honor of having it's called the Shakespeare Roundtable and Playwriters Guild.
That's correct.
And you're the people that are at the library every Tuesday from 4 to 5:30?
4 to 5:30 every week.
You're doing all the poetry stuff in the back there that we hear?
Right, we do. We read the plays of Shakespeare, and we enjoy studying the 500-year-old language and studying the culture and getting together once in a while, as we are going to be doing very soon, on Tuesday, October 30th.
And this is Judith Strickland. She's one of the ringleaders. And did you want to introduce the other folks with us?
Yes, thank you, John. I am the moderator, and to my right is Robin Neidecker. And we all have courtly titles, so I'll give her title today. It's Lady Robin.
Thank you.
And she's going to be part of our program. Behind me is my husband. We call him Sarah George Strickland, and he's the founder of the Shakespeare Roundtable. Oh. And our classic fool that we brought along today for fun.
That's the only time a woman can say that about her husband? No, they all say that about their husbands.
I would never say that. And behind me on my left is Peggy Alice Rhodes, and we call her Countess Peggy Alice Rhodes, and she has a character that she likes to portray, and that is the Widow McNabb, and she's going to tell us more about her too.
Oh, cool. Okay, so what's coming up? And it's on the 30th, you said, and then where's it going to be held? And give us some of the information on what's coming up for us.
Okay, this is a program that is called an Elizabethan Fall Fete program put on at Pahrump Community Library, and it will be October 30th, this Tuesday, starting at 2 o'clock, and will go to 4:30. And it's a two-part program, which is great fun. The first part is called The Art of Monumental Brass Rubbings, that will be done by Roberta Neidecker, and it's a very artistic event where she will be able to use her rubbing experience from England, which she studied, and she'll talk more about that in a minute. And the second part, which starts about 3:15 or so that everyone from school can come, we hope, because there's people perhaps busy during the day. Okay. This will be the Renaissance Fun Fair, and we hope to highlight through Peggy's experience some of the Renaissance songs, some skits, based upon a play that we've all been studying for the past couple of months. It's called All's Well That Ends Well by William Shakespeare. It's a problem comedy, but we've solved some of the problems and have redone it somewhat our way, although we have certainly attributed a lot of Shakespeare's language. So let me just turn this over to Lady Robin right now so she can talk a little bit about what she's going to do.
I will be presenting, as Lady Judith said, The Art of Monumental Brass Rubbing. This is an art form that I discovered when I lived in London, and it is using paper and waxes, and I have two of the waxes I use here. Also on the back,
covering up a little bit.
We have a Yeoman of the Crown, and we have Isabel Cheney. I do them in solid colors and also in multicolors. And if you have ever, as a child, taken a coin with a piece of paper and a crayon and rubbed it, that's essentially what it is. However, there is a form to it to keep it even and minus the streaks. And when one does it, one uses what we call heel ball wax. Originally, they used cobbler balls that they used to polish their shoes. This started in probably about the maybe even earlier, 1600s, that people wanted to preserve the monuments that were placed on the tombs. This is one of the replicas. What I have cast resin replicas. This is a portion of a larger monumental brass. It's a dog. Dogs indicated faithfulness, so they were quite popular to use if the couple was faithful. And I have done them from the replicas, of which I own several, and also I have done them in the actual churches, such as Westminster Abbey, where I did a very large one of Eleanor de Bon, who was the Duchess of Gloucester in the late 1300s, and All Hallows by the Tower, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Tower of London. And it's a very interesting little church. It was a Saxon church, and before that, actually built on top of Roman pavement. Right. William Penn was baptized there, and our 6th president, John Quincy Adams, recited his marriage lines there.
Oh.
Can you hold that up and show them? Is that the heel?
This is the heel. This is the heel ball. This is one of the large waxes. It's a gold one. Gold shows up best on the black, but as you see, I can use different metallic colors. And this is great for using for the large brasses. When you get to the smaller ones, something like this is a good tool to use, because the object of this whole enterprise is to not go outside the lines, just like your good old crayon books.
Now, when you give your demonstration on Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m., will you have a sample of a replica?
Absolutely.
Right?
I will have
samples
of knights and ladies, and people can join in and try their hand at doing this.
At doing the rubbings? Mm-hmm. That's going to be wonderful. And you studied this when you were living in...
When I lived in London, we lived there off and on for the first time around 11 months, and then back again for about 2.5, 3 years. And I have always been interested in art and history, and this combines the two with an art history.
This is wonderful. It's so cultural, and we thank the library for providing this opportunity for us. And it's also there is no charge, so it's all free for the library, and people want to participate with it. Peggy, can you tell a little bit about Widow McNabb?
Aye, indeed. I be the Widow Alice McNabb. That is my character when I do fair. I started doing fair back in 1995, and I joined the San Luis Obispo Peasant Guild, where we studied the peasant life and the peasant costumes, and learned how to be a peasant, and which was wonderful, because as a peasant, what do you expect from a peasant? They can make mistakes. 'Tis no problem. So I decided my character would be the Widow Alice McNabb, and I wear all me amber so I can lure another husband. I run the Blue Bar Inn in my shire, and I need a strong laddie for my Blue Bar Inn. So I wear, when I go to fair, I wear me amber so I could see if I can lure another husband to help me run me in. I need a strong laddie to carry the barrels of ale, but I don't want a drunken sot, just a strong laddie. Now, and at fair, I always come, with my fan, because sometimes it's very warm. And I always have my flea bag, so the fleas go on the bag and not on me. And of course, you always have your cup, just in case there's an ale around here and there. And we sing songs at the tavern, and we play peasant games like Kick the Cabbage and Pox. 'Tis a wondrous time at fair, and if we make a mistake, what do you expect from a peasant? I indeed.
And Peggy makes a good point, because when we get together at Round Table and we read every week, we're reading from the script of Shakespeare himself. But this time, as playwriters, we have taken some liberties, and we've woven in a lot of these interesting items that Peggy's bringing up and rewritten things, and we're going to include some fun things that she's taught us. And we thank her daughter-in-law, Jennifer Reed, who was our vocalist, who taught us many of the songs that we're going to be singing. And the audience is going to be asked to participate as well in our little skit.
So William's going to be turning over in his grave a little
No,
bit.
I think it'll be quite Williamish.
Okay.
He'll be laughing.
Oh, Lord, sir.
Yes. we learned some of the language, and we even have our own censor who will tell us when we've maybe gotten a bit too bawdy. So it's interesting that we have all kinds of wonderful fun. We started this program back in 2008 when my husband, Siraj George Strickland, who likes to write poetry, and we have something called Tumbleweed Tale Society for the poets at the library, said, the greatest writer and the greatest bard and poet and playwright is William Shakespeare. would you teach me something about Shakespeare and read the plays together? And I thought, that's an awful lot of work to do for just one person, though I love you. How about if we find a couple more people to go with us? And we went to the library and talked with Susan Wonderly, the director. And at that time, Vivian Owen was there, and she was very encouraging.
Oh, yeah.
And we just grew this wonderful round table and brought all kinds of people in who have backgrounds, and we enjoy the plays. And so thanks to George, we have now gotten a larger group of people. And there are some young people who do attend, but I want to stress that it's difficult for younger people. Although if you're under 18 and your parents can accompany you and don't mind some of the adult content, because Shakespeare was adult, and they don't mind the studying and scholasticism that goes with it, they would be welcome. So, George, you want to say a little bit more about your part?
Yes, I founded this organization because as a writer, I write short stories and poetry. I felt incompetent, so now I feel a lot better after about 3 years of Shakespeare. And I've just written another book, by the way, if you're interested. It's about called The Curse of Rhyolite. It's a poem, and it's a whole story within the poem. And it's about Rhyolite.
Where's
And
the bottle house? Okay, yeah.
And you can get this book, Cornbread Amos at yahoo.com. Contact me, and I'll tell you how you can get the book. It's Cornbread Amos, Cornbread Amos, yahoo.com. And I really enjoy this particular play because it has a fool in it, and I have always strived to be the best fool that I could be in every walk of my life. Thank you very much.
So,
Huzzah!
Huzzah! So everyone come and join us. Your costumes are welcome. You could be the ghost of Hamlet. Maybe you could be a pirate or perhaps a Renaissance person. We are going to have some fun, and we invite everyone to enjoy with us.
That's great. Thank you, Judith, George, everybody else. So once again, this is going to be on the 30th at the library.
That's right. And we have a website. I'd just like to mention that if you
Please.
have a computer and want to visit us, we're at www.pahrump-valley-musician-and-artist-network.com, courtesy of Mr. Martin Benson, who is a musician. And you can also find Tumbleweed Tales poetry there. You can Google Pahrump poetry and find us much easier.
That's
though.
easier, yeah, because otherwise you're going to have
Right?
to get the spelling exact one letter off, and you've had it. But so that's coming up, and how much more time do we have? Just a minute and a little more. So you're back. Where are you going to have this in the meeting rooms?
In the meeting room at the library, and I suppose we'll be a little bit noisy. It'll be easy
No,
enough
you
for
won't.
us
No,
for you to find
We'll close
us.
the double doors. We won't hear you.
They
That's
hear
all right.
God save the Queen. They know.
They
they're
know. And we want to thank you, John, because you're always there at the library helping us get things set up and moving tables, and I know that we cause a little bit of movement, but all the librarians have been so helpful, and I'd like to just say thank you to some people who've so generously donated things to our Shakespeare program, especially someone named Velma Von Holt, who got us on National Public Radio. I want to say a special thank you to her
okay.
for our past summer program, which we had in June. And we have other wonderful people who give us gifts of books and materials associated with Shakespeare. So it's becoming a wonderful, wonderful thing for the
And
Valley.
the founder, the fool,
And the
pays
Fool.
for everything.
Oh, thank you. That's right. We wouldn't be here without the Fool.
So yeah,
Gramercy.
yeah.
Gramercy, right.
So culture is always welcome in Pahrump. So we thank you all for coming here this day, and thank you, Chad. Thank you for watching as always, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you at the second segment, and we'll see you on YouTube. Thank you very much.
I indeed.
I
I'm a
indeed.
fool
God
for
save the
culture.
Queen.